All right, Scotty. And we're going to start with some real basic things. Tell me about life for you. I mean, how long you lived in Oskaloosa, just some of those real basic of things.
Okay. I was raised in a little town, Tipton, Iowa. 3,000 people. I went to the University of Iowa, graduated Phi Beta Kappa, married my husband. We've lived in Oskaloosa 45 years. I've been married to him 54 years. We have 3 sons. I went to work out the Oskaloosa school system. I loved it. I previously had taught in Cedar Rapids and some other places. Taught out the high school over 30 years. Love it. Still go out there. Have 3 sons, one of whom has returned to the community. I hope my grandson will return too. That's what I love to see, is kids that were born here that come back into our community.
Well, you know, the most obvious question is why do you want to run for city council?
Oh, well, why do I want to run for city council? Well, I have a passion for our community, and I want to make it as good a community as I can. I love teaching. I love being around others. So my passion for Oskaloosa is to serve the community in the best capacity I can.
And I know that you have mentioned before in previous comments that there's some projects that you would like to see finished. Can we talk a little bit about some of those projects that you feel compelled that you'd like to spend another 4 years on the council for?
Okay, well, one is our commitment to road improvement, and we, as I said, have a road plan, a master plan, and I'd like to see that completed. Another thing is we have a master plan for housing. I'm on the small committee for housing with other people, and we're in the process of trying to develop a new subdivision that will offer affordable housing. We did a house study to find out what needs we had in the community, and this new plan we have is to address some of those needs. Another thing is the lost sales tax that passed. 68% of our population voted for it, and 75 cents on every dollar is to go to this new recreation and child care center. I do want to see that built, but I want to make sure it's self-sustaining financially, cash flows, that it supports itself so the taxpayers will not be doing it. Another thing currently I'm on the Forest Cemetery Board representing the city, and I want to make sure that the cemetery also will be self-sustaining and viable in our community. So there's a lot of projects going on that I feel I have a commitment to that I'd like 4 more years to bring to fruition.
Well, and we'll start off with roads because that's always a hot topic for everybody. We hate potholes. And you talked about the progress that the city has made. And then in some ways it's also now tied to the sanitary sewer system because now we're replacing roads and sanitary sewer system all at the same time. Talk us through a little bit about how we're trying to make that as cost effective as we can. Sanitary sewer rates have gone up immensely, and we hear about that.
Yeah,
water rates. So let's discuss a little bit about the city council's perspective on that and why it was necessary to.
Okay, it's necessary because the DNR is requiring it for us to get into compliance, and they've given us a 3-year time frame to get into compliance. That's the same problem all communities in the state of Iowa are facing currently. So our infrastructure is old. The I&I rates, we've analyzed them. We've tried to do it in as cost-effective a way as we can with this 3-year plan when it comes to our sewer system. As far as the roads go, again, we have a plan on that. And because we're in such good financial condition right now, and we've paid down a lot of bonds, I think we're probably in a position where we can bond to do some roads because our Moody bond rating is AAA. So there's a lot of things I don't think the public realizes when they look at their water bill, which I'm part of the public, that this is not something we're doing to them, it's something that's been done to us, and that we have to get in compliance to keep our waterworks functioning.
And I've asked the other candidates I've spoken to, some of them are running for your office, some of them are already there. What can you guys do to be advocates for citizens and go to the state and say, DNR, these regulations are overzealous and the people of Iowa cannot afford them, or the people of Oskaloosa cannot afford them?
I think we have and already gone to the legislature. We've talked to our representatives down there and said, can we have more time? Can we have some more grace period? Can we implement this in a little slower manner? We've tried lots of different tactics. So it's frustrating. It's frustrating to us as a city. It's frustrating to you as a taxpayer to have these mandates put in place that are so difficult to achieve. So it's very frustrating, and to come up with, this is what we can do. What I would say is that these are some things we're trying and have tried, but it is very frustrating.
And we'll go to the lost sales tax and the Early Childhood and Development Center, and that came about. There was a vote, and it showed that there was a division between the city and the rural people. Mm-hmm. Is there a way that the city council or yourself can reach out and work to try and bridge that gap and that divide that has? Well,
that would be with the supervisors. And when I was elected 8 years ago, our relationship with the supervisors was adversarial, and it has improved and it has come along. But for the early rec center and the daycare center, that's something evidently the residents of the city felt strongly on. They voted, they supported, and rural people just did not support it. So we can't impose our will on them, but I hope as we go forward we can bring them on board as this is built. I hope they utilize it just like the public library. If you're a county resident, the various townships have paid to utilize the library, and I think as they've seen more and more the benefits of doing that, they've been more and more likely to get on board. Just that, again, we'll go to the animal shelter, and the way of supporting that's county, city, shared services, and I think the county has gotten more on board with that as we have gone along. So I'm hoping this early rec center will be a facility that the county will use, and people in the county will say, yeah, this is a good deal for us. And as a township, we should subscribe and we should pay more toward its viability.
Okay. And the regional airport, I'm going to check my timer here real quick, Scotty. Oh, yeah, we got some time. We'll get talking a little bit about the regional airport. If there's a hot topic in Oskaloosa for the past 7 years or more, it has been the regional airport.
Well, more than that, because when I went on the council, I thought it was a done issue. That we'd already signed the 2080 agreement. First time I ran 8 years ago, the airport wasn't even a blip on the radar screen, to be honest with you. It's been more the last 4 years that this has become more of an issue, because 8 years ago, when I had gone on, the Board of Supervisors were on board for the regional airport. So yes, this is a hot topic, but it's become hotter, and it'll be interesting to see now if it'll die a natural death.
And that's part of that discussion now is also part of that divide that's happened between rural and city. Is there a way that's going to get solved?
Well, it'll be interesting to see, because it's a lawsuit right now. Mm-hmm. And the Board of Supervisors, I think they're the defendants.
They are.
Yes, and so it'll be interesting to see how that will be solved. Unfortunately, it's going to cost the taxpayers some money. Not because of the city, but because of the county. So maybe people in the city and the county need to address their supervisors and say, hey, let's move ahead. This is something that's been agreed, promised to, and we need to continue to support the promise that we made.
And that process of moving the airport forward is getting near to the point now of land acquisition. How do you hope to see that process goes as far as land acquisition?
Well, the FAA, which is paying 90% of this project, has paid for the studies and the various things that we have done already to get us to where we are. And they wouldn't do that unless they had a guarantee that we could acquire the properties on which this is going to be built, which is eminent domain. And I'm not a fan of eminent domain, but that being said, it's something we had to do to get the funding for this. So as far as acquiring properties, we're going to offer, well, that won't be me, you know, I'm not the one doing it, but I would assume, we've been promised or told that landowners will be more than compensated for their land. It'll take 500 acres out of cultivation, but we'll put 600 acres back in with our regional airport, with our local airport that we're selling. So this is a really hard topic because, as Tom said in the forum, if someone came to you and said, hey, well, I want your house, I'm going to build a road through it, you probably wouldn't want to sell your house, you know. But if it looks financially to your benefit to sell your house, you're probably going to do it. And hopefully that will be the way it's done.
And another one that's come up and I've heard a lot of is the codes in Oskaloosa. Well, do you believe that the codes that are currently on the books and being enforced are conducive to growing business, or do you think that businesses, developers are shying away from Oskaloosa because...
I don't know who came up with that statistic or that idea, because in the last year we've had 133 units built in Oskaloosa, and because of when builders come, they ask for variances or code changes, we've been pretty amenable because we want businesses to come. To sit down and go through all the codes would be hours and hours of work that need to be done sometime along the line. But so far we've been busy trying to get roads and new housing and economic benefits to the town, and some of the fundraising, the brownfields grants that we've gotten to reclaim various parts of town that were nuisance. The facade, we really haven't had time to sit down and look through individual codes. That time probably will come. But first things first. And those things are to get those dollars into Oskaloosa that are going to most benefit us. And again, I really challenge that builders aren't building here. You know, when I go around town, I see building happening.
Then how do we as a city attract new retail businesses, new businesses, new employers? Because we've gone backwards in that.
Okay, what I would say about attracting new businesses, new retail, is to we go out, we have got a new economic development person in place. That's not us. That's the chamber that's done it. This person is supposed to be more aggressive in employing benefits to bring people here. We have offered TIF money. We've brought several new businesses in. But one thing we've done, and people always forget, they're always like, let's get new business. Well, let's make the businesses we have happy, allow them to expand. You look at what's happened out at Oski Foods. They've had a huge expansion. Clow is going great guns. Musco has more than, the size increase there is huge. So let's offer things to people that are right here in town now. So we've done that, as well as try and offer economic incentives to other businesses to come into Oskaloosa. So we're trying to do both at the same time.
One of those things that I've asked every candidate is if you're interested in running for office, as you are, then what's your vision for Oskaloosa?
Okay, my vision for Oskaloosa, I've been in Oskaloosa 45 years. And here's my vision for Oskaloosa. I hope 20 years down the line, someone running for city council sitting here in this spot would say, this is what we've done. We've made Oskaloosa a town that offers all the amenities that would keep and attract people here. We have great rec center, rec activities. We have a good school system. We have a nice square where they can go down and hear the band. We have the alley where they can sit and listen. My vision for Oskaloosa is that people want to live here and that we offer them economic opportunities to make a good living so they can stay here. So that's my vision for Oskaloosa.
All right. And another one of those pieces of work that the council undertook was rental inspection. And I've heard from some of the other candidates that they felt as though there was already enough codes on the book that we didn't need to add anything else such as rental inspection. So if you can talk us through why that was an important piece of work for the council to undertake.
Okay, one of the things people said, and we heard over and over, is they wanted the community cleaned up. They wanted it to appear better. When people came here to think about jobs or living here as they drove around town, they wanted the town to be aesthetically pleasing. So rent inspection was one of the ways by which we felt we could offer people a good place to live, safe place to live, that was also aesthetically pleasing to them. Any community bigger than 15,000 has to have a rent inspection program. So we thought we will try a rent inspection program to see if we can somehow or another entice landlords to improve their properties and allow tenants to have that same option. Now, it's something I feel really strongly about because I am a landlord. So I want to make sure it's fair to our landlords. And most of our landlords in Oskaloosa are good landlords. Already the rent inspection just passing has caused some landlords to sell their properties and to get out of the business. And those are really the ones that we were hoping would sell their property to other landlords that were going to improve and enhance their properties. Everyone should have a safe place to live. So that's what that is about. But I want to stay on 4 more years to make sure it's implemented in a way that's fair to everyone. It needs to be fair to the landlords. So we're going to have a committee that will go in place almost immediately of landlords, tenants, and various people, so that if this isn't working properly, we can tweak it, fix it. As I said, get rid of it, fix it, tweak it, whatever's necessary to make sure it's working the way we wanted it to work. And as far as that being hastily implemented, we spent probably 6 months. We had meetings at the library getting input. We had multiple meetings explaining to the landlords this 2-page list of things that we were asking. There were things that just made good common sense.
All right, and we're going to start kind of winding this down a little bit, but is there some topics that I haven't touched on yet that you felt as though you would really like to discuss?
I would ask you, when you're thinking about coming to Oskaloosa, do you come here and look at our schools and the things that we offer and our golf courses and our parks and our Lacey complex and the roads you're driving over? Or do you come here and look at the codes that we have on the books already? What is it that appeals to you? What are you thinking about as someone when you want to come to a town? Is there good jobs there where I can make a good living? Is there good daycare and good rec opportunities for my family? Is there a library? Are the schools good? Are those the things that you're looking for in a community? And I think we have a wonderful community. I'm very proud of our community, and I hope we will continue to grow and thrive as we have in the last 8 years.
Okay.